everyone, welcome and thank you for being here. I'm Addie Spahr, holistic wellness coach and business inspirer for self-starter moms that want to earn an income while managing their time around their kids and household needs. I'm super excited to be hosting with Jen Wittman today. Jen Wittman is a business strategist and a whiz at teaching entrepreneurs how to organize their lives and businesses so they can have six-figure financial success and lifestyle balance, all while making their big impact on the world. Jen has worked with everyone from Emmy Award-winning celebrities to trailblazing coaches and power mompreneurs. She has a really incredible bio that we've actually posted in the chat section. So you can check that out there for all the details and also on her website at mindfulmavericks.com. Jen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here today.
I just a quick admin note for anyone who is jumping on to please mute yourself so we can keep the lines clear. We are recording. So just thank you for helping us keep it quiet on the outside. Okay, so just a quick intro from my end. I decided to become a network marketer because I needed an effective product to support my health coaching clients. And I had also heard of incredible success stories of men and women who had taken their network marketing business to six figures. And I knew that was something that I really wanted. But for the past few years, I've been digging in and using my company's template for success. But I still found that I was struggling to manage my time, find solid customers, and recruit new team members, all while doing this in the limited hours that I have available every week. So I reached out to Jen Wittman for some new inspiration and guidance. And within just the first couple months, after working with Jen, my paycheck grew, but more importantly, my confidence grew. And that has been a really huge component in attracting new customers, new team members, just infusing more life into my business. She's helped me define a clear niche and define my personal brand strategy to better encompass network marketing, but also all of the other components of my wellness business. And so that's been really helpful in terms of streamlining, up-leveling, and doing that all while also being the CEO of my household and a mompreneur. My business and stress levels have changed so much since working with Jen that I asked her to join us for this brief Q&A about her online program From Side Hustle to Six Figures. And this program helps network marketers create an automated business strategy to organize and streamline their business, find more time in their lives, and make a sustainable income and overcome the overwhelm. Since we have about 30 minutes for the Q&A component, I'd like to dive right into our questions. And if you guys have questions, we're going to open it up at the end, and we'd love to hear from you. So Jen, let's dive right into it. What was the catalyst for creating your program specifically for network marketers?
Yeah, well, so years ago, I was part of a network marketing company, and we were promoting a specialized device. And this product could be, either promoted to health practitioners or direct to consumers. But the company was having a really hard time selling this device because they really were encouraging us to reach out just to our family and friends and to like our personal network of health practitioners or doctors. And I could see my team leader was really struggling with this model, and it was taking her a long time to build up her business. Because like when I started with this network marketing company, I had already had like a successful six-figure business with this health platform I had, and I had over 125,000 subscribers, and I was also a successful affiliate marketer. So when I was seeing this model and seeing people struggle so much with it, I kind of proposed to the company, like, could I train people or could I teach them about how you leverage these direct marketing and affiliate marketing principles to help somebody automate and grow their business? But the company was really resistant to this. And this was 5 years ago, and this would have been kind of an early, adoption of these principles at that time. And they were kind of really resistant to it. But if you flash forward today, that company is actually implementing like everything I proposed to them 5 years ago. So one of the reasons I wanted to create this program was because I wanted to help people who were in the same position I was in back then by using these kind of newer marketing techniques and tactics to help automate and grow their business. But also just in my personal business strategy consulting, I just kept seeing people who had direct sales businesses come in and they were struggling with this sort of, traditional model. And I just thought, wow, there's a lot of people still struggling with this, and there's a way to make it easier. There's a way to automate it so that you have more time to balance either other businesses or your family. And that was really the reason why I decided to put this in a sort of done, do it yourself, but also done with you program format.
Amazing. So a big component, I think, that probably lends itself to some of these struggles that you saw before was the time management component. So I know one of the things that you really emphasize is working smarter, not harder. Tell us more about that. How does your program address some of those issues and help people get out of some of those roadblocks that they're having?
Yeah, well, good time management is really the core of any successful business person. I mean, people are always busy. You're always juggling many things. Multi-passionate entrepreneurs always have 5 things on their plates, plus when you have a family and you're trying to juggle it all. So it's key to manage your time wisely. And, it also cuts down on a lot of stress if you're working more efficiently, and it just frees up your time. So the way it works in the program is I really teach you step by step how to become a time management ninja and how to leverage your support network, which I think people miss a lot, that step, and how to have more time for balance and self-care.
That is such a good point. The self-care part of it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love that you added that in there, because I know that's something that we all struggle with. So one of the things that I feel like was a huge benefit in working with you was, and something I have really struggled with in the past, is creating this ICA, this ideal client avatar. My challenge is that I'm a people pleaser. I want to help everybody. I always stayed kind of general because I don't want to leave anyone out or exclude anyone, or, think that if I'm helping, the busy mom, then I'm leaving out the young guy that's in his 30s or 20s or something and also needs some help. So why do you think it's so important, though, to have an ICA and to really carve out that clear avatar to help you stay focused? And how does your program address that?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've probably heard this because it's a popular business saying, but it's when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. And that means if you try to have all types of people be your customer, your ideal customer, the one that's going to buy from you and, buy the products and wants to join your team, they can't find you. They are not identifying as your customer. So the danger is when you're trying to reach everybody that your message gets muddled. And so if it's not clear in your communication who your actual ideal customer is, your customer doesn't know if they're meant to work with you. And I always use the example of this. If you have some sort of health issue and you're, researching doctors or health practitioners who could help you, if you go to somebody and they say they treat 20 different illnesses, you're like, okay, great. That's great that my condition is one of theirs. But if you go to a different doctor's website and you see that they only treat the condition that you have, you are automatically know that they're a specialist in this and that they probably are really good at what they're doing. And so you're going to be more apt to, hire the doctor who specializes in what you need than the generalist who works with a million other different types of illnesses. So, when you're defining your ICA, what it will do for you is it will make you the specialist in, whatever your personal brand is trying to convey. And people are going to want to listen to you, and they're also going to want to buy from you.
So I think that's such helpful information. I think it might be really helpful for our audience to hear a little bit deeper on that from you. Just could you give a few examples of how you built Thyroid Loving Care, for example, around that principle?
Yeah. So when I first started Thyroid Love and Care, I was thinking I wanted every person who had a thyroid condition. But then I started to see that certain people were coming with a victim mentality and they really didn't want to heal. They really wanted to just kind of stay in that condition. They wanted people to feel sorry for them. They didn't really want to do anything that it would take to heal. And I started to realize I needed to change my brand voice, my copy, all my marketing efforts toward my ideal client. Well, my ideal client is somebody with a thyroid condition who is a take charge person, who doesn't want to have it, who is willing to change their, lifestyle and dietary habits. And that I didn't need to attract all the people with thyroid conditions. I needed to attract the ones who were willing to do the work. So when I kind of reset my mindset around that and started targeting, start my focus on people who were willing to take action, I found the right customers, the right clients found me, and I was able to impact more people in a real way.
So can I also just give people a little bit of background that you, in many ways in that business, were your ICA, right? Like
Right.
you were suffering from thyroid disease. You wanted to heal yourself. You wanted to empower yourself. And so you did that. You healed yourself. You figured out how to treat this condition holistically. And so from there, you actually created a business that grew to over 100,000 subscribers, became a business in and of itself. Your husband joined you in creating that business. You guys sold that business. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background too on not just the credentials, but like, how Jen has like taken what she's saying and like really put it into practice and gotten results from it. So I just think it's fascinating to see like, what happens when you go specific. And I think the part too about, maybe you're not on your website advertising like only self-starter healing people please come here. But like within your copy, how you were doing your email content, all of that, the attraction component, I think is what really is the key part of how you grew that. Am I right?
That's exactly right. So, I mean, it wasn't this overt thing saying, I don't want to work with you if you're not going to do that, but all the copy and my voice was really geared toward people who were action takers and people who were positive and people who wanted to heal. So that was part of that attraction piece. But I also wanted to say that once I niched out, I was able to actually scale it much faster. And that's what allowed us to sell the business in the end so that we were able to work on other projects like this one.
Awesome. Yeah. I want to come back to part of this discussion just in a second, because I feel like there's a mindset component to it as well. But I'm going to save that just for a couple questions.
Okay.
And then one of the things that I did want to ask you about is like, and one of the things that was for me, like the biggest hesitation initially of joining network marketing, because it took me a while. So Sean, I don't know if you know this background, but so Sean's wife, Kim, is the person who introduced the network marketing business that I'm part of to me. We met in our kids' tumbling class and she had been telling me about it. And I was really hesitant because I didn't want to be a salesperson. Like I've done sales before, in all different aspects of my life, but something about like that network marketing salesperson type, that like, it just felt kind of icky to me. And a lot of people have a negative connotation with that. And I think that also there's so many different MLMs out there, direct sales companies. I know so many people that are affiliated with a network marketing business that people who aren't almost feel kind of overwhelmed by people approaching them. So I think that, one of the things you talked about was how you've been able to create a business that goes beyond your friends and family network, which was one of the big things that attracted me to working with you. But talk about like that in more detail. Like, how does what you offer get around that like salesy feeling? being able to create lead generation, build a business funnel, getting you away from just targeting your social sphere. And I do think that there's a lot of amazing things about targeting your social sphere. I know I have some really amazing friends and family members that have been with me from the beginning, others that have just flat out said no, because they just have an aversion to network marketing. Let's talk through that a little bit, because I think this is something that comes up all the time for people.
Yeah, and I think it comes up all the time in every type of business, because a lot of people are, there is this aversion to, quote, being salesy or selling or whatever. So the way I've always addressed it is to offer really high value to people for free. So initially, just establishing yourself as an expert in your field and really giving people high value content. So as we were talking about Thyroid Love and Care, at that time, what I did was I offered, free thyroid and autoimmune coaching to anyone who took this quiz. And so there was so much value for the reader in these email coaching sessions that whenever I suggested a product that would enhance their lives, they would buy it. I never had to sell them on the product. I didn't have to be salesy for them to buy it. I had built up the trust and already provided so much value for my readers that they knew if I suggested something, that it was something that would really help them, and it would improve their lives. And so it was never, a sale. It was just more like, this is what I use. This is how it helped me. If you'd like it, here's where you can get it. So that's one thing. And then where that plays really into lead generation is that, for people who don't know, lead generation is just really a strategy for attracting people to your brand and services and products. And when you create an automated lead generation system, you're not only able to scale and reach outside that social sphere, but you're able to really connect with your audience and provide them with so much value and take the sales part out of selling. So it allows you to expand your reach and connect with potential customers, and then and also team members outside of that personal network. So that's how I've always addressed it. It's like, you don't need to sell if you're just connecting with your audience.
Yeah, I think that's a really valuable way to look at it. And I guess a follow-up question to that is, does your program help people not only to build that initial attraction piece, but then also the retention component of it? Because I feel like that's another big part of network marketing, right? Is for some of us, it's actually really easy to get new customers, but then it's the holding on to the customers, the customer care component of it. So does all of that come into to the system and to the tools that you provide?
Yeah, so the lead generation module we have, first of all, it just tells you how to set up the system and how to construct your lead generation in an automated way. So that's just number one. You kind of get the nuts and bolts of how to do the lead generation. Then it also tells you what types of emails you want when. So it tells you what you want to, what type of value you want to offer step by step in each way. It kind of outlines how to connect with the person, how to build trust, how to provide value, what types of value they need. And then through, the group coaching calls, I'm able to really dig into each individual's business to see, to help them, with a kind of a more personalized strategy around what their brand is trying to do. So the program really addresses this it's still at a beginning level, but it's the level at which you need to start. It's the foundation. And then where that plays into retention is really around providing such high value that your audience is looking forward to your emails. I know so many of us get just inundated, and it's like somebody's emailing us every day. If that person isn't providing high value, I'm unsubscribing from their list. But if every time I see their email, I'm like, I want to know what this person's saying, then I'm going to stay on, and I'm going to stay on as a long-term customer. And that's what we found when we had Thyroid Love and Care, is that the more value I offered in this automated system, not only I was able to reach more people, but I was able to retain them long term.
Awesome. So I think an extension of that is creating an action plan. So one of the things you just mentioned is that, people will go through and they'll do these modules, but then there'll be group coaching. And then part of it is having an action plan that is specific to each person. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what's the difference between like having an action plan versus the time management, the lead generation, and how has that helped you in really growing your business?
Yeah, so an action plan, the way it's different is it's really a functional business plan. So it's not the business plan you take to the bank to get a loan, but it's a functional business plan. It's the way you're going to operate your business every day. And what becomes part of that is your financial strategy, your marketing strategy, your time management strategy. So the action plan that you're going to end up building in this program is going to take you, and you're going to look at every week. You're going to plan out for every week. What are the steps? What are the steps I'm taking this week? So it might be 3, action steps per week that you're going to do, but it's going to just like very strategically move your business forward. So having an action plan, what it does is it takes all that overwhelm out of building your business. And, when my husband and I start new things, and we are constantly starting new businesses, some we start together, some we start separately, we always actually go through my system that I use with my private coaching clients, and that this program is really created from, to when we start our business, because it just lets us organize everything we want to do, our goals, our mission, our values, and then it organizes the steps we have to take to get there. And by doing that, it actually helps us with our time management, because then we break that down even further and kind of distill it to what we have to do each day. First we start with the overall 12 months, then we do it monthly, then we break it down into weekly, and then to the daily tasks we have to do. And that really helps us be efficient and be time management ninjas.
So I want to just comment a little bit on that process, having experienced it, because I think so I'm someone who's really detailed and organized in certain aspects of my life, and really good at helping other people get there. But I really need people to help me create this action plan and, to keep me accountable, because I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur and I like to do so many different things. That's just how I'm wired. It's how I thrive. But I think one of the things that was really fascinating to me is getting this plan from Jen, and there have been times where I'm like, oh, I'm not like doing things as quickly as I want to be doing. But then when I go back and I keep like updating my plan and shifting the things that I'm doing, I realized I actually have already done a lot of what you laid out for me. And it's really awesome. And to feel that sense of accomplishment, but to know that I have this map, I have a roadmap. So just as a quick example, one of the things that has been on my bucket list has been to become an author, and to use that as a tool to grow my business, my network marketing, my wellness business, to become an expert and to really position myself that way. And so Jen recommended that I become an author in a compilation book, because it's something that I could do quickly, I could connect with people, and I could get out there. And what's really awesome is that the book that I contributed to is going to be published either the end of this month or the beginning of August. And that I was able to do right away. It's something I have been thinking about, I want to say, for 8 years. And right away there was an easy to do that I could achieve, and propel me into more credibility, more opportunity to connect with people way outside of my sphere. And so there's a whole strategy even just around that component in terms of a business growth opportunity. So anyways, I just wanted to share a little bit about that as a tangible example of some of the things that come out of doing this work. So with that, I want to come back to that mindset piece that I think you foreshadowed a little bit when we were talking earlier, but some people, in my particular network marketing business and others that I've talked to say that, for them, it's mindset, right? If you have the right mindset, you can grow a 6-figure business. So what do you think about that? And how does that fit into the attraction piece? And how does that fit into into the systems and tools that you feel are important to building a six-figure business?
Yeah, well, mindset is everything, right? I mean, it's a key component of this training, because if you're busy always fighting your limiting beliefs, you're really not going to have the energy to focus and build a successful six-figure business. So aligning your mindset with your goals is really the most important step you can take to grow yourself personally and to grow your business. And if you're busy, with self-doubt and distraction and procrastination and analysis paralysis and all these things, self-sabotage even, if you're expending all this energy on that, you don't have the energy or time to really focus on growing the business. So what I do in this program, because I felt mindset was so important, and it's really almost one of the first pieces that you need to address, is that, I offer these 5 special mindset masterminds to help you overcome the biggest mindset obstacles that I see business owners facing every day.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think that's so key. And it's something that is a practice that we have to keep at, we have to keep doing it. So I think that is great that that's a big component of it. So the final question that I have for you, and then we can open it up, is social media. I think, what's interesting in the world today is that I'm guessing everyone that is on this call or going to be listening to this is engaged in some kind of social media platform. We hear all the time about, these Instagram influencers who build, a multiple 6-figure, 7-figure business just through their online engagement, growing their audience that way. There are a lot of groups that you and I even are both involved in on Facebook, and that becomes a big platform. I know, like, within our network marketing business, we use social media, particularly Facebook groups, and just even as a way of communicating, sharing information. But I want your take on it. Like, what are your thoughts about social media as a way to grow a 6-figure business sustainably, and versus maybe the strategy that you take?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think anyone can deny that social media is a real force these days, and that using social media strategically can definitely skyrocket your business. And I think some people can grow a 6-figure business just through social media platforms, like you were talking about, the influencers. But those people are actually kind of the rare people, right? I know a lot of people like to sell these programs on, you're just going to become an Instagram influencer and make all this money. But it's usually more that it's only one piece in the larger puzzle. So it's definitely, social media is definitely a component of a successful business strategy. But honestly, you don't have to be on all the social media platforms to be a success. And oftentimes just focusing on one social media platform but doing it really, really well will serve you much better than being on them all. And in some types of businesses, you don't even need to use any social media. So I have 3 businesses running right now myself. One of them, it's all referral based. I don't use any social media for it. The other one, I use Facebook, and it's just only Facebook I use. And then I have a products business that I only use Instagram for, and I grow that list. So I think for products and direct sales businesses, social media is an important part of the strategy. But to only use social media, especially because the companies keep changing around the algorithms and the rules and how your sponsored post can be reached, I don't think you can put all your eggs in that basket. But you definitely have to respect social media, and you can use it as an effective tool. So what I love about the program we're talking about today is that I walk you through how to find the right social media platform for you and your brand and your products, and whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. Like, I am extraordinarily introverted. Like, just doing this video today is really challenging for me. But, I have been successful in multiple businesses, even with honoring that introvert inside of me and choosing the right, social media platforms and the right way to express myself on those platforms. So that's what I like about this program, is like, part of what we're doing here is figuring out, okay, your brand is this, and your goals are these, and which social media platform is best for you as, you know, part of your marketing strategy. And then what kind of person are you? Do you just love being on video or love doing the lives and you're really charismatic? Or are you introverted and want to hide from the world, but still want to make an impact? In this program, we help you figure all that out.
Awesome. That's great. I think that's so helpful. Okay, I would love to open it up to anyone who has questions. If there are any questions, you can either post in the chat, you can unmute yourselves, however you guys want to do it. If there are any, but maybe we did such a thorough job and covered everything.
No, Addie, this is Kim. I have a question, I guess. And I jumped in kind of late, Jen. And my apologies, Addie, for being a little late. But obviously what you've outlined is a very comprehensive program. And I feel like I've done a lot of work in some or all or of the buckets, if you will. Is the program customizable to a certain extent? For example, you're talking about lead generation, mindset, scalability, creating customer lists, which is your digital asset, which is currency, you know, work in each of those areas. But so does the program enable customization to the individual and plugging into systems and things that they're already working on or through? Like I've made investments in certain areas of this overall comprehensive plan that I would hate to see myself go back. So does your program allow like integration and customization with what we might currently already have at play?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's really designed from my signature formula for creating successful, sustainable six-figure businesses. So it's the same program that I use with my private clients, and each client is totally different, right? But the infrastructure and the organizational piece of how you actually successfully implement a business are all the same. But then what you do is you plug in, you know, what you want to do. You plug it in kind of based on your schedule too. It's really meant as a system for organizing this functional business plan, having and outlining your strategy, and then breaking it down into these like really easy weekly, you know, action steps so you don't feel overwhelmed, so you don't end up like bumping your head up against the wall and falling into those same patterns that keep your business from growing. So if you've learned from 10 different teachers and done all these other DIY courses, you can easily plug in their concepts or the things that are already working for you into the framework, because that's what it is. It's really a blueprint, and it's a functional business plan.
Okay, thanks. Really helpful.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
Well, if people do have questions, I wonder, Jen, do you want to type your email into the chat here? Yes. You can also always reach out to me for information or follow-up questions. And I believe I have shared the overview, the page that describes this whole program. I'll repost it out there as well. And, you know, feel free to explore that. There is even, what are you calling it? The teaser module within that program that you can click on, just kind of understand even in more depth, like it outlines like everything that this program goes through, so you can really understand, you know, how comprehensive it is, and you know what you would get out of it.
Can I ask a quick question before we hop off?
Sure.
Yeah.
Jen, thank you. I think you're awesome. So I sort of was curious of your take on, I caught this like little clip of a talk. I can't remember his name, but he's a popular, like, kind of media person, or business person, I should say, but he's all over social media. But he was basically like, this little clip was, if you are not creating 100 pieces of content a day, whether you are a business owner or you're selling something, whatever you do, whatever your field is. If you're not creating 100 pieces of content a day, then you're basically missing an opportunity, because he kind of was, and 100 like one piece of content could be just a single tweet. It could be an Instagram story, or it could be like a blog post. Like it's all the ranges. It's just 100 things, 100 a day. And he's like, yeah, that's a load. But here's why. His whole thing was, it was that Gary V guy.
Oh yeah,
He's
Gary
like
V. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
He was like, basically, we are through all of everyone is spending time on their personal devices. They're spending all of this time on the internet. It's everything. And so he kind of was making the argument that it's all about the attention. Like, if you need to get people's attention. And the way you get people's attention is you just have to constantly be creating and putting stuff out there. And then they're gonna look at you. And if they're paying attention to you, if you have the captive audience, then they're going to be more likely to buy from you, or you're going to influence them. The thing that doesn't sit well with me about that is that I get overwhelmed by, marketing or everything. It doesn't have to be a product-based thing, but we're hit all over the place. Like, I'm interested in something that someone is offering. So maybe I subscribe to their list, and suddenly I have 30 emails from them like a day. And, and you kind of mentioned that, you want to flood people with, I'm using the word flood, that wasn't your word, but like, you want to really give people free quality content and be offering value. But where's the line between like, and is this something kind of you go over with, like, creating 100 pieces of content a day is crazy. And it does sort of, ask the question, or make me ask the question of like, how is it possible to maintain quality stuff and not just be like, I'm making a lot of noise here, so look at me. And kind of I'm curious what your response to that whole idea would be. And is that something that you kind of address, whether it's, how often are you contacting, and how often do you have to reach out to your list and to your market and all of that stuff?
Yeah, these are really great and important questions. So Gary V and I are in a lot of the same mastermind groups. And I believe that strategy really works for him, and it really works for a lot of other businesses, if that's how you want to run your business, right? Just like an influencer. If somebody wants to build a personal brand and be the name and be the face, and all they are the brand, and their goal is to, have other brands hire them to be an influencer. That is one strategy, right? Let's say though you're a busy mom, and what is really valuable to you is having as much time as possible with your family while bringing sort of an automated, sustainable income in. Well, then your successful business strategy is going to look way different. So first of all, it comes down to like, what are your personal goals? What are your personal goals? What are your business goals? I think it's definitely successful for Gary V. That man is doing really well, but I also know that he has a team. So no one human is going to be able to like pump out 100 pieces of content a day. There's no way. You would spend your whole day creating content. If that's something you love to do, it is a successful strategy, and do it. But if that's not really what you want to be spending your time on, then that's not a successful strategy for you. So my take on it is there's nothing wrong with doing that. And that's definitely successful for some people. That's not how I would want to spend my time. And I'm also like, I've had employees, I've had teams before, and I actually prefer running my business without a team, like an actual employee kind of consultant based team. So, it just really depends on what do you want your lifestyle to be? is what I'm doing here with my program, you know, the online program, but also my private coaching, is I'm trying to create a business that works for the person's lifestyle and for what their personal goals are. It's not structured just to make a 7-figure income for everybody. You know, it's like, how much do you want to work? Maybe you only want to work 5 hours a week. Okay, let's build a 6-figure strategy out of what would it take to only work 5 hours a week and do this, you know? Or if you're Gary Vee, he loves to be out there. He's so charismatic. He's super smart, right? And he's got a team. So it's like, I want to stay relevant. I want to be in the face of everybody. I really want to, you know, sell and promote my programs. And the way that he wants to do it totally works for him. So I think it's just a matter of looking at your personal goals, you know, seeing what you want your lifestyle to look like, and then creating a business plan that works for you and that allows you to do the things that you want to do. So, but let's say you wanted to do 100 pieces of content. It is a super smart idea. That is a great strategy. Well, then as part of your business plan, one of the things you're going to put in there is hire a content creator. And that's it, right? So you can do it. It's really a yes and model, and it depends on, you know, what you want for your life. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
It did. Thank you.
That is a good question, because I think that, you know, I think all of us as entrepreneurs see so many different other models that are working for people. And so it's hard not to get starry-eyed and think like, okay, that person's doing it, so do I need to do what they're doing? But I think that what you just said, Jen, is what is so valuable to me. And like what my experience in working with you is that I'm building what works for me. I'm building it around my household needs, my kids' needs, you know, supporting my husband in his busy entrepreneurial life. And so it's really specific and targeted for what my total goal package looks like, I guess you could say. So I think that was a really good point of just, you know, what you're doing is really tailoring and giving people tools so that they can create a model that is taking a lot of these tools that lots of successful people use, but then tailoring it to fit their own lifestyle needs. So any other?
I do want to share really quickly. Sorry to interrupt, Ed.
No, go ahead.
I do want to share when Jen and I chatted first time we met, and I sort of asked her pretty directly, like, why do you think that what you're offering, like what sets you apart? Because you know, it's easy to see all these there's so many different programs out there, and everybody seems to kind of have the answer. And I liked your answer, Jen, and I think it's come through in kind of everything that you've had to say today, in that it was, and you can correct me, I will paraphrase, in the personalization part, in the intake, like in the intake section, when you know, first do like your interview or the questionnaire, and you really try to get the person to really hone in on who they are, what do they want, and you know, and I don't know if you want to, you kind of touched on it, if you want to talk any more about that, but I do think that that's really like the personalization is really kind of what comes through and sets you apart. And I think that's awesome, because it's super intimidating, at least for me, to think like I have to be doing what this person is doing, you know, in order to be successful. And if that doesn't fit into my life, then I'm not going to be successful, you know?
Yeah, Ben, thank you for that. I think that's what I see online that's most frustrating, and I've fallen into that same trap, is that people just saying like, there's one answer, there's one solution to all your business problems. This is the one thing you have to do. Well, my whole thing, and I don't think we even mentioned this, but I also run this online magazine called Mavericks Magazine, and it's meant to highlight and feature entrepreneurs and to show, like what I really want to show is that there's no one path to success. There's just only your path to success. And so I think it's really important for people to understand there's no one answer. That's why people have to continually jump from DIY to DIY program or coach to coach to coach to coach. If that coach thinks there's only one way to do business, and if they're not successful at it, they get defeated, they feel overwhelmed, and then they move to the next coach, right? But I think if you have the position of, we need to design and craft the business that works for you, and that there are all these different tools we can use, but there's not one tool that just guarantees everybody's success, because if there was one tool, every single one of us would be just doing that one thing, right? That we would all choose the one thing that equals success, but there's no one thing. Every entrepreneur has a different story and a different journey, but we all can use best practices and the best tools out there to create a business that works for our goals and our, and also our desires, our lifestyle desires. That's my elaboration.
I love it. I think that's great. I'm going to actually stop recording on that, because I thought that was like such a powerful way to end. Okay. So let me do that.